everyone, my name is Sophie and welcome to my new video. Today I'm going to share my unpopular book opinions with you. A little disclaimer, these opinions aren't that serious. They might not be as unpopular as I think. I just really don't know. Honestly, I was just writing down book opinions and I'm just gonna make them unpopular because I know some of them are. Again, they're not that serious. I respect everyone for their opinion. If they like something I don't like or the other way around, I don't mind it. It's really not that deep. It's just fictional characters and the lighting just changed so much. I love that. To start off this video with a bang, my first opinion is that Will Herondale I didn't even want to say it. Will from the Infernal Devices is actually very much overrated. I get his appeal, I really do, and I believe that if I had read the series like in a different time when I was like 14, when I read most of the books that I did read, I probably would have like loved him the same way everyone does. But just the fact that I read it recently, you can watch my rant review on the first book and my reading vlog on the last book where I cry my eyes out on my channel. That being said, I understand that he's like a comfort character and that people love him a lot, but I think he does like the bare minimum to be so hyped up. I did cry over him. I did. I mean, that's not difficult to make me cry though. It's not that I'm like, oh my god, I hate hearing about him. He's so overrated. Fuck him. I don't hate him. I think I really liked him. You know, I really liked him. I do like Jem more, my baby. But for the most part, I really just don't care for Will. I don't get the hype. I'm not part of it. When I'm on book Twitter, I see at least 2 tweets a day about Will. And I don't even follow people specifically just for the Shadowhunters. So that's a lot, you know. I also just think that people hype his death up way too much. Like, oh my god, Will Herondale, he died. Oh no, I'm crying. How can Sarah, no, her name is not Sarah, Cassandra do this to us? When I knew Will was going to die before I read the trilogy, and so I was waiting the whole time for this bitch to die in a battle, go down fighting, like it's like, how do you say, like it's a sudden death that you didn't see coming, and then he dies of old age. I just didn't fuck with that. So whenever people have a meltdown about his death, I'm like, girl, like, get over it. Like, he lived a good life, a fulfilled life. He had children. He lived with Tessa. He died peacefully. What is your issue? People just love being dramatic, you know? I don't blame them. I do, kind of. For both the Red Queen quartet and the Ember and the Ashes quartet, only the first book of the series was good. The Red Queen series is finished, and I remember reading the first book and absolutely, like, I stand that book so hard. I love that series. But I think just like after that, the book series got very political, and I remember just really not caring about all this politics that was going on. Like, I didn't care for the characters enough to keep reading for them, and so when the plot got all this like confusing and mushed up, and I couldn't keep track anymore. I never read the last book. I do have it, but I never read it. I might, but that is, I think, like 700 pages, so someone needs to pay me to read that. As for An Ember in the Ashes, I absolutely love Elias, who's the main male character. Elias, I would literally die for Elias. He's, you know, in my tier ranking video, I put him in literary masterpiece because that's what he is. I read that series solely for Elias. The Queen series doesn't have a character I care for at all, so that's definitely, you know, a plus for An Ember in the Ashes. I think more people should read that series, honestly. It doesn't get the recognition it deserves. It's really good, and if you like the rest, like, you can really like the rest of the characters. They're really interesting. The world building is really interesting. Just go ahead and read it. I just, for myself, thought the first book slapped the most, and then it just got, like, it just went down progressively. The last book is coming out in December, and I will read it because I did read the third one, A Repat the Gates, this year. And I just remember, Elias was the only thing that got me through it, honestly. I don't remember what happens in the second book, or even in that book. I don't remember it. I don't remember the plot, so when I do read the last book in December, it's going to be really interesting because I don't know anything. I really fucking don't. This is something I've seen on Twitter, and that is the fact that a lot of people hype up Warner from the Shadow Me series. I think he deserves the hype. In my humble, non-critical opinion, like my 14-year-old self opinion, he was my first ever book crush. I read Shadow Me when I was 14. I read all 3 books and I was like, oh my god, I want him to marry me! He didn't marry me, so that's disappointing. And also, Restore Me, which is the 4th book in the series, is trash. A lot of people hype him up and they're like, oh my god, Warner, like he has that one quote where he goes, lift your hips from your love when they fuck, and they're like, oh my god, I'm dripping wet. It's all the 14-year-olds on Twitter, I know. I've been there, you know, I've been there. I just think that in the first book, he was quite problematic. And I'm not gonna call him out for it because I really don't care, and it's like when I was 14 I didn't see it that way, and so maybe I would if I read the series now, but it's been so long and I also don't have the books anymore because I sold them. But the thing I'm trying to say is that he can be seen as problematic, but a lot of people love him, even despite that, they just ignore it, but crucify other characters for being very similar to Warner, that like bad boy trope, you know. I'm just trying to say a lot of people are hypocrites, and I find it very difficult because that's something that really aggravates me, when you can't make up your fucking mind about something and you're being like you're contradicting yourself. So that's that. Jude and Cardan. I have yet to read The Queen of Nothing. I did get it recently for a stellar price. You don't even want to know. I have such a good deal on it, but the fact that I got a good deal on it also meant that it doesn't match any of my other copies, like from The Wicked King and The Cruel Prince, so that sucks ass. I hate Jude and Cardan. I think their shit name is Jude Cardan, so I'm just gonna say that. Everyone on Twitter hypes them up. They're like, oh my god, Jude Cardan, I love them. They barely interact. They didn't go from enemies to lovers. They went from bullies to lovers. Like, they were bullying each other. They were being rude to each other, and then they were like, but wait, like, you're kind of hot. And people don't like to hear that. They are way overhyped. Whenever I see, like, people being like, oh my god, yes, I love them so much. Like, the only good thing is Cardan's letters that I haven't even read yet. I haven't even read the book where they appear yet. People really, like, they take the bare minimum at this point. They accept the bare minimum. How often do they interact, honestly? Like, someone tell me what made them fall in love with each other. You know, the fact that they hated each other? Whack. They have nothing in common. They never had, like, a deep talk where they were like, okay, maybe not. They literally fell in love because they thought each other was hot. That is the reason they fell in love. Also, the fact that Cardan has a fucking tail, people always make fun of it, but honestly, I hate the whole series in general. Like, I can't tell you a single person of color in that series, but I can tell you that some of them are green, so I think Jude Cardan sucks ass. If that is your favorite ship, then, you know, I don't want to judge, but I am judging. That is not it, sis. I don't have a favorite ship, so keep me out of this. I don't have a favorite ship. I honestly, I don't have a favorite ship. The worst book that I have ever read in my life, and I stand by this, and I think I would even, I just wish I hadn't sold that book so I could make a review on it now. But the worst book that I've ever read is Traitor to the Throne by whoever wrote it. I think Alwyn Hamilton or someone like that. I don't remember. I read this years ago. I read this, I think, when I was 16. So 4 years ago. Because I was already dating my boyfriend. And I was telling him about it. And I was literally, I didn't have, like, a blog at the time. I didn't have Twitter. I didn't have a bookstagram, you know, where I could share my opinions. I didn't have a YouTube. But I was annotating, like, everything in that book. Because it was infuriating to read. It was trash. It was trash. And I was planning on writing a Goodreads review, and then I didn't. Like, I chickened out. I was like, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to be rude to the author. Hee hee. No. Trash. basically the first book is called Rebel of the Sands, I think, and that book, I loved that book. I remember loving it. I can't tell you what it was about now at this point in my life, it's been too long, but I remember loving it, especially for the male love interest. I thought he was super cute, super funny. He made the book like 100 times better. And tell me why that character was on like 5 pages in the second book. And then I was already like, okay, this is gonna be a fucking challenge. And then the whole plot just didn't make any fucking sense. Listen, the main character, whose name I do not recall at all, she has the ability to only speak the truth. I don't know if that's an ability. She can't lie. Imagine a character who can't lie. It's really nice, you know? The magic rule, like the rules of the magic system were never established in this book. So logically thinking, she would be able to lie if she believed it was the truth. You know, it just makes sense. Like if you believe something is true, that's not a lie because you don't know. But this was never said. This was never established. It was literally just like, she can't lie. So in every situation in this book, she could have just said something out loud and then that would have happened, you know? For example, she's held at like knife point at some point in the book, and instead of saying, I will not be hurt or I cannot be hurt, something like that, she just doesn't do anything. Whatever, you know? It's just very difficult to have the protagonist have a power like that and then be so fucking dumb. Like, the power that she has is it's just too powerful. When there are no limits and boundaries to it, it's just too powerful. Because literally, say in that situation, I cannot be hurt, and she can't be hurt. And she could just be like, I will be queen. And she'll become the queen. You know what I mean? Like, trash. Trash, 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 trash. I have stated this before in my booktube newbie tag, but I hate contemporary books. I will never be able to feel happiness when I read a contemporary book, honestly. I have tried. I've tried numerous times. Don't come at me. But they are boring. They are boring as fuck. I just think that a lot of the times they're too predictable. You have a book that's fantasy or dystopian, I think you just have way more power to do things with characters and make the story interesting than when you are bound to this world. So no, I will not be reading contemporary. Maybe someday when I feel like experimenting. But honestly, I know I'm not going to like it, so why would I? To put myself through the torture? Maybe. But I'm not at that point in my life right now where I need that kind of hurt, you know? Don't think this is unpopular, but I hate couples as soon as they start dating. In Echomoth, I love the slow burn. I didn't really care for the characters individually. Together, I was like, this tension is through the roof! But as soon as they got together and I read Echowa, I was like, who the fuck cares anymore? I didn't care for them, I was scared for them, I didn't want to see them fuck. No, I didn't, I really didn't. It just loses its spice. You know what I mean? It's just not spicy anymore. As soon as they get together, there's no tension anymore. Boring. Boring. It's just boring. I need tension all the time. Don't have them come together until like book 3, because otherwise I won't finish the series. I believe, and I stand by this, Kaz and Inej should not have been a thing. I know a lot of people love them, and I love them. I love them individually. Honestly, Kaz is my little baby, and Inej is my little baby. I love Six of Crows. It's my favorite. Is that my favorite book? It probably is. I just wasn't there for their relationship. I didn't feel it. I think it's because I just wanted them to be by themselves, like asexual type of vibes, you know. Kaz was giving me those vibes, and I think, you know, if you want to pair all of your characters off with someone in the group, go ahead and do that. But I just would have loved to see, because honestly, like, I'm sitting here right now and tell you I've never read a book with ace representation. That might be on me though. I read books by all the popular authors, and I have never once encountered an asexual character, and I think that's something that should change. Because, like, where's my ace rep? When they, like, you know, the bandage scene and shit, I wasn't like, oh my god! I was just like, this isn't what I was envisioning. But okay, like, I know they're really beloved and everything, so pretend like I never said anything because I don't want to be hated on. To finish it off, I'm just gonna give like some easy ones. I think standalone books suck ass. I hate standalones. I think that's also the reason I don't really read contemporary, because I feel like most of the books that I'm thinking of right now that are contemporary are standalones. So when it's a standalone, I have huge issues to connect with the character. I just feel like it's not enough. And the books that I did get into, I just feel like it's not enough for me to feel for a character, you know, just having one book. I can't really connect. I don't have time. It's over before it starts. What got me into reading was Graceling, or at least I would say that, and that is a standalone. There are 3 books in that series, which are all with different characters, but the other characters make appearances. But I don't think that bothered me when I was 14. But now at this point in my life, I'm like, I can't fuck with standalones. I also didn't really fuck with Illuminae, because that also has different characters in every book. And why are you doing that? Why are you doing that to yourself? You know, just keep the same characters. You're hurting me emotionally. To finish it off, my last opinion, which I've never heard anyone speak about, because I'm just so quirky and unique. I'm reading a book, and it's, you know, POV, not third person, just the character's POV, main character's POV. And I'm reading it, and the book is over. So it was just the main character the whole time. And then all of a sudden, the fucking author decides in the second book or in the third book to add another POV. I hate that. I hate that. Ew, 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 ew. I don't want to read it. It just feels wrong. If you have a first book with one POV and then you make the decision to add POVs further down, no. No, it's just a no for me. I hate it. I hate reading it. I don't want to see it. I hate to see it. For me personally, I prefer third person anyway, but I'm just thinking about like Echo War, or not even, or Echo Falls, what, like something from Sarah J Maas, but she just started adding like recent chapters POV. I don't want to hear it. I don't care. Where's he coming from all of a sudden? Men don't have rights, and he definitely doesn't. I hope no one's mad at me now that I've voiced all of my opinions that I could think of. I think I probably have a lot more, but maybe I'm gonna make a part 2 when I think of some. Let me know if you agree or disagree, or what your opinions are. I think it's really interesting to hear. And people are always so scared of voicing everything, and it's just like, it's not that deep, you know? It really isn't. People need to understand it's not that deep. It's just fiction. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this, and I also hope to see you in my next video. Bye!